Secretary Johnson, from the President, in their response and their quick way of trying to help us. And so with that, we have found that FEMA is moving just as fast as we are. And so when we start to pre-position, they're pre-positioning right with us. When we need something, they're getting it right to us. And so they've been incredible partners to deal with as we go further. And so when I was talking with Secretary Johnson on the phone the other day, he said, I want to be there. I want to be on the ground. I want to see it, and I want to feel it. And so from that standpoint, I just, we of course welcomed him. You are always welcome in South Carolina, but it's especially important to us that you chose to come during a time of what's been a very unusual event. And we just want to thank you for your support. I want to thank the delegation members that are here. I want to thank the Red Cross, who I've said anytime I've had to go through an issue, whether it's the fire in Georgetown, 2 winter storms, and now dealing this, they're the first group I see, and it's the reason I'm so grateful. And I always tell anybody, if you want to know how to help, just go straight to the Red Cross, because they're our best partners when it comes to this. But before we get to Secretary Johnson, I want to introduce a mayor who has been a great partner and a great friend and a great leader through so much, Mayor Summy.
Thank you, Governor, Secretary Johnson, all the delegation that's here, Red Cross. This is a team effort, and I can honestly say I was here as a rookie county council member when Hugo hit, and we've come a long way, baby. We're working together. There's no questions about who's in charge, who's on first, who's on second. Pulling together. This was the fastest response to any disaster we have ever had. And that takes people willing to work together to accomplish that. And so I just want to thank the President for his fast response. I want to thank the Governor for making that fast request for the response. And I just want to thank FEMA for their efforts in moving down here so quickly. It's been a pleasure working with all the local governments coming together to make sure that we handle our people. The one thing I will say to folks that are still out there that are in the way of the flooding that's coming, you can replace anything in this world except your life. If there's any danger that the water is going to come up to a high rise in your neighborhood, leave. We will help you get back. We will help you recover. But for right now, think about yourself, think about your family, and leave. Don't worry about your pets. If nobody else will take them, they can come to my house. But we will be there to protect you every way we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the President, the federal government, the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, which is part of DHS, I want to say to the people in this part of South Carolina, the United States government, your United States government, is here to assist your governor and to assist you in the recovery from this disaster, in relief from this disaster. On October 5th, the President declared a major disaster for this state. We are providing public assistance in 11 counties, direct individual assistance to the citizens of this state in now 19 counties. There are more than 100 FEMA personnel on the ground here. The Coast Guard, the United States Coast Guard, which is part of DHS, is on the job. The Army Corps of Engineers is here. President McGovern's people with the Red Cross are here in this state. This is a whole of government effort on the federal, state, and local level. The two things I would like to stress are what you've already heard. This is not over. Water levels are rising, and so on behalf of myself as the Secretary of Homeland Security of this country, my message to the citizens of this state and to this part of this state is listen to your governor, listen to your mayor when it comes to what they tell you about your own safety. If they tell you to evacuate, evacuate. If they tell you to be careful, be careful. Listen to your leaders in this state and in this area. The other thing I want to stress is direct public assistance is available to people in the affected areas. If you want to apply for direct public assistance from FEMA, you can go online at www.disasterassistance.gov or call 1-800-621-FEMA. FEMA. Thank you very much. I want to compliment Governor Haley and the mayor and the other leaders of this state for their fine leadership. I want to compliment Congressman Sanford and Senator Scott for their concern and their leadership here, and I'm privileged to be with you here today in your state, and I appreciate your friendship as well. Thank you very much.
Senator Scott.
Let me just say, as a North Charleston fellow who's born and raised here, one of the things that we have become very comfortable with is water disasters, water challenges. And so it's so easy for us to take for granted the plea of our governor and our Secretary Johnson to heed the warnings that as the water starts to rise in the next 24 to 72 hours, it's very important, if you're living in low-lying areas, make your disaster plan now. Make the decision to leave now. Get your senior citizens, your friends, your relatives, take the time to make that decision now. Having had the experience of Hurricane Hugo as a resident, having been here for the last almost 50 years now, I will tell you that if you think that you can make it through and you're wrong, not only do you put your life in danger, not only do you endanger your life, but the emergency responders who are so willing to be helpful will have to come to your assistance. We need to take the time to say to our emergency responders, thank you. The men and women who wear the uniform, thank you for coming, running into harm's way when everyone else is running out. And for the support apparatus, the folks in this building and other locations just like this who team up with the Red Cross and United Way and other organizations, thank you for your care and your concern for this amazing community. It is certainly a blessing to be South Carolina strong, and thank you to Secretary Johnson for making your way here and taking the time not just to come to the press conference, but to go to the neighborhoods that have been impacted by this devastating flood. That shows true leadership, and we appreciate that. Governor Haley, you have been amazing this entire year. We have had challenge after challenge after challenge, and you have risen to the occasion every single time. And this is just another example of how the federal, the state, and the local governments are working together. God bless us with you guys.
Thank you. And now, Governor, Congressman Sanford.
I think that everything that could be said has been said, and so let me just repeat a couple of fine points. One, to you, Madam Governor, thank you for the job you've done. I've stood in your shoes, and I think she's done an incredible job with regard to emergency response and its aftermath. Thank you for what you've done. Mr. Secretary, really, as the Senator just said, thank you for taking the time to come down here as you have. It makes a real difference. And I just to repeat again what the Senator said a moment ago, in thanking the first response team. So, I mean, there are just so many different names out there. Kathy, you out there? Where's Kathy? You know, I want to recognize her in front of you, Mr. Secretary. She arguably runs the best EOC in all the counties of South Carolina. She really does a phenomenal job. And I just think that, you know, you ought to pat her on the back. I don't know how these things work, but, and the same with Jason over there. And you could go down a long list. I see Louise Welsh with the Red Cross. I mean, the local apparatus really has been forceful here in support of the governor's efforts and your efforts. Again, thank you all for being here.
Thank you. And like you said, Kathy, Jason, Patno, y'all have a fantastic team. We always know that if something's going to happen, this is one of the best teams in the state, so thank you for that. Gracia Check, if you are here from FEMA, she has really, from the very first day, shown up, and she, along with...
She works for me, everybody.
And you snatched a good one. Her and Craig Fugate are fantastic, and they've been by our side. And so Gracia continues to be wherever we need her, and so we're thankful for that as well. And I will tell you that, you know, while this is a really tough time, and while we're going through this event, there is our beautiful South Carolina underneath all of this water. So we will get back to her. And that will happen, and we will come back to where we've been, and we will get back, and we'll be back stronger than when we started. But right now, we're in taking care of each other. So take care of your neighbors, take care of your family, take care of your pets, and heed every warning that's out there. Let's get to next week, and then when we get to next week, we'll take it one day at a time, and we'll make sure that we recover from there. So now we'll open it up to the press for any questions they have for anybody. Yes.
Yes, are you guys going to be opening up any tetanus clinics?
Yes, so what you will see is they are already getting, and that's a very good point, thank you. So as we get into the assessment mode and the debris cleanup, we're going to start the debris cleanup on Monday. And so we've already got 5 contractors. Those 5 contractors are going to be out across the state cleaning up as it's safe enough. If you are covered by insurance, your insurance company will help you with the cleanup. If you are not covered by insurance, we need to make sure that you put the debris by the road, not in the road, by the road in 6 different categories. You can't just put a mess there and think they're going to go through it. It's got to be in 6 different categories. Those categories are on the DOT website. So please make sure you organize those the way they need to be organized. You need to be wearing work gloves. You need to be wearing boots. When you're dealing with things like this, we have almost as much tragedies that can happen in dealing with the carpet cutters and all those other things that go on. Tetanus shots. What we are going to do is they will start on Sunday. Your clinics will be open on Monday to give those out, and we're trying to get some mobile units up to get some tetanus shots around in mobile units. So we are in that. If you haven't had a tetanus shot in the last 10 years, you'll want to get one. If you don't remember, just get another one and be on the safe side. But those clinics, and they are waiving all of those registration fees. So you just need to go to one of your local clinics and get the shots. Yes. Yes. Right here.
Secretary, as someone who oversees the team that's looking at all of the damage right now, I know that there is potentially more damage. I know the number's been difficult for you, Governor, to talk about. What is that number at right now in terms of damage to the state? How much money are you giving in terms of FEMA funding, and do you think that number could go even higher in the next 72 hours?
Well, let me begin, and I'll call on Gracia to follow up. A couple of numbers. So far, in terms of individual assistance, something like 25,000 people have come forward and applied. That individual assistance is available for things like hotel stays, cleanup, home repair, and the like. In terms of the total affected numbers and the devastation, let me ask Gracia for the latest numbers.
To be honest with you, we're still working that with the state in doing damage assessments, preliminary damage assessments. We're going out to the counties and gathering those numbers. Right now, the 11 counties that are declared for public assistance is for debris removal and emergency protective measures. However, we are looking at other categories of public assistance, which is for more of the permanent work to any public facilities. So we know the individual assistance numbers at this time, and we expect them to continue to grow as we add on more counties.
What are the numbers at this time for individual assistance?
The 25,000, over 25,000 people have applied, and over $4.5 million has been approved at this time.
In terms of infrastructure damage in the state, is there a number?
So we've got about 33 assessment teams out going across the state right now that are looking at infrastructure. We have 380 closures, including bridge and road. That's all happening. The assessment's taking place in the upstate and moving its way down. But we're going to have teams out there. We've already got the teams ready to get to work. The good thing is on the county and the state level, we've got DOT ready to go to work on all of the state roads. They're going to define it in 3 classifications. One's going to be immediate need, the second's going to be 2 to 4 weeks, and then it's going to be long-term. So that will be what we're going to do. We're looking at mobility first, so obviously the I-95 repairs is one of our biggest priorities as we're trying to get that up and running. And then you're going to see the National Guard all over the state going to cities and counties. So their goal is to help the cities and counties with local road repair and to help that get up fast. So next week will be a week of a lot of fast moving around. We'll have debris contractors out there. We'll have road contractors out there. We've got a lot of engineers looking at assessments, and you'll see up in the Midlands, if you don't want to be here, there's another reason to move and get out is we're doing a lot of neighborhood cleanup in the Midlands to go help our neighbors and really help them kind of start fixing up to what the low country is going to have to be doing going forward.
Is that $1 billion number that's being thrown around, is that excessive? Is that inaccurate?
I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what the dollar amount is. If you flew over what I have over the last couple of days, I mean, all you're seeing is rooftops. You're seeing boats in yards. You're seeing devastation at a level that's really hard to comprehend. I don't know what that looks like dollar-wise. I know that that's extremely painful citizen-wise. And so I think we need to get off the dollars a little bit and allow the assessment teams to do it right. If they're going to go in and assess, I want it done with infrastructure and get the right number. If they're going to go in and do individual damage, let's assess the right number. That number will come out at some point, but if we're going to do it, let's do that right. So we will get you numbers. It's not going to happen fast, but when it does happen, at least I can tell you it's going to be the right numbers.
Can I ask the congressman and the senator, based on what you've seen, do you anticipate money coming out of Congress above and beyond what's been allocated now? And do you think it would be easy to get that done, given the mood in Washington, and pass votes on things like what happened with Superstorm Sandy and that sort of?
Yeah, so currently the amount appropriated from Congress is about $6 billion for disaster relief. The likelihood of us needing more money that goes beyond that, depending on how you look at it, for supplemental relief, I think the likelihood is there will be some measure adopted by the House or the Senate to provide more resources. The mood in Congress, frankly, I just had a bill passed last week that was a bipartisan bill signed by the President. So I think the mood in Congress does lend itself to getting things done in a bipartisan fashion, and this would be one of those situations.
Yes.
I know this morning you mentioned the 4 counties that were of greatest concern, obviously several of them being in our area. But for folks at home, that does seem like such a broad area. What specific communities are you referencing? How can people know if they are among those intermediate areas?
So listen to your local officials first and foremost. There are specific areas in Georgetown County that we're looking at, the Jamestown area, and then anything south of Gavans Ferry is what we are looking at. The number one key is if they come knock on your door, that's pretty much it. You need to leave. And so they're getting alerts out. They're driving up and down. We're not actually relying on people to watch the news. We actually have them going door to door, making sure they're touching base with people, regardless of the property, regardless of what it is. So whether it's a small business or a house, they're stopping by every place. So all of our law enforcement, our National Guard, our firefighters, everybody you can think of, they have really teamed up to make sure that there is no chance anyone does not know to get out.
So essentially, if you are not among those immediately impacted, you probably will not see these folks in your neighborhood or your street.
That's right. You will see them. There's quite a presence. Any other questions? So to just leave you with one last thing, if you have seen any damage whatsoever to your small business, to yourself, or to any of your property, please call the FEMA number and register, 1-800-621-FEMA. 1-800-621-FEMA. Call them. They are waiting for you to call. They're ready to help and assist in any way that we can. That's already set up to go. If you have any questions whatsoever on road closures, on any evacuations or anything else, everything is on the state EMD website, so please make sure you go to that as well. In reference to debris removal, you can go to that DOT website and they will show you exactly the 6 categories you need to do that. But right now, let's just say a prayer and everybody stay safe. Thank you very much.
Can I say something
Yes,
also?
please.
I'd like to add this. Everybody up here is a public servant. When a crisis like this occurs, there are no Republicans and Democrats. We are public servants first, here to serve the public when the public needs us the most. And in a situation like this, we drop what we are doing. We set aside our normal schedules. Some of us take off the business suits, and we're here with the people to let them know that the organizations and the governments we represent are here for them. We're mobilized, we're acting quickly, and we are serving the public, which is what we are elected and appointed to do. There are no Republicans and Democrats up here today, and over the last 9 days, party affiliation is irrelevant. We are here to serve you. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you very much.